Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about the newest album from A.G. Cook, 7G. So this is the full-length debut album of producer extraordinaire Mr. A.G. Cook, who I've been quite the fan of over the past few years, especially his work with Charli XCX, but also the numerous projects and tracks that he's worked on with his label PC Music, which Cook founded back in 2013, and in my opinion has been responsible for pushing pop music into the future. So, needless to say, I was really curious to hear what a full-length debut would sound like from Cook when I heard that this was gonna drop, mainly because I was excited to see how he would establish himself as his own voice in this really futuristic world that he had such a heavy hand in creating. So, enter 7G, his mammoth of a debut release over here. It's 49 tracks long, it stretches over 2.5 hours in length, and it's separated into 7 discs, each one focusing on a different instrument. And there's a lot of notable covers on here as well. You got Beetlebum by Blur, The Best Day by Taylor Swift, Chandelier by Sia. There's also The End Has No End by The Strokes, Today by Smashing Pumpkins, and even a Charli XCX cover in there of the track Official. Now, the way that this project kicks off, it sounds like you are in store for a textbook A.G. Cook project with the track A to Z. There's this stuttering drum beat, like it sounds like it was lifted from some acid house beat from the 90s. And there are all these vibrant and colorful sounds that sound like they've been stretched to their extremities. And the progression of the song overall is pretty strange in itself. I mean, it goes from these really intense, pummeling drum beats to this stripped back, almost impressionistic, gentle melody landscape, which is one of multiple spots on this album that he plays with that idea, like also on the tracks H2O and New Crush. Also, the second disc of this project did stick out a little bit more like the first disc than the rest of the bunch, because it does focus more on guitars, most of which are these pretty intimate, slower type ballads that have Cook singing over them, which go over like just okay, honestly. The pacing of the tracks can become a little bit tiresome and over-dramatic, honestly, especially since Cook doesn't really hold his own as a singer. I mean, take the cover of Chandelier, for example. I mean, he can just not hit those notes like Sia can. It's actually, like, somewhat cringeworthy. And as for the rest of the material on this project, which there is a ton of over here, I mean, it just becomes kind of fleeting overall, and a little bit plain sounding for A.G. Cook and PC Music standards. Because surprisingly, this record overall just doesn't really have its own unique, defined sound. I mean, there is some cool sound play on here, do not get me wrong, this is an A.G. Cook project, but I mean, it just kind of flirts with a lot of ideas and sounds that have been presented in the past on projects and tracks that A.G. Cook has produced himself. And I mean, the way that it comes together on this full length here is just in a very jumbled way. I mean, I do admire the ambition of releasing a debut project like this with such a massive track list and so much material on it, but I think it would have been cooler if he had structured those acoustic ballads in the track list with those more impressionistic structure types, like on the tracks I had listed previously, and kind of brought them together in a holistic way, because I feel like there is a lot of potential in some of the sounds here crossing the line between those like avant pop and like acoustic singer-songwriter. But with that being said, I'm feeling a 6 over here on 7G. So no physical releases of this record that I could find online. PC Music doesn't really do too many physicals, but I have a link down below to A.G. Cook's Bandcamp so you guys can stream this. And if you did listen to 7G already, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and share. And if you want more content from me, hit that subscribe button. Peace.